Hi everyone, this is Terlena Murphy with Force Multiplier Consulting. Today I'll be speaking with Power Coach Kay Crawford. Join me today as we talk about how she was bold enough to relaunch her business, Live 365 with Kay. As she coaches and mentors people to live their best life, join us as we have an interesting conversation about her business. So we're with Power Coach Kay Crawford with Live 365 with Kay. Before we get started, could you tell us a little bit about your brand?
Definitely. So I launched Live 365 for the purposes of letting women and men live unapologetically. The goal is for them to be able to be who they want to be, set their minds to their goals, and make them happy at the end. I've realized a lot of times people were making decisions to help other people. They were making their careers, their lives was based upon what was going to make other people happy. And I wanted them to be able to have an option of like, how can we put this in place, my own life, their own lives, to make themselves the best version that they can be for themselves and let other people get the overflow.
Wonderful. So I'd like to have a discussion in the following areas. So since we started stay in place with COVID-19, because you and I were talking, and as we were moving towards reopening the public to go back to work and things, you made the bold move to relaunch your business, right? So I just could you walk me through the types of businesses that you were looking at, how you wanted to mold and shape your business?
Definitely. So when I started, so Live 365 had been launched maybe 2 or 3 years ago. And the problem was I wanted to be able to help more people, but I didn't want to commit to the space of having to have a building or have an office I wanted something that was more flexible and that I could be consistent with. And so when COVID came out, when this happened, it was like everyone started turning to the technology. And Zoom, I had already been using that platform, but it was far and few in between as far as in how many people were on the platform. Once the public health scare came, everybody moved to this platform or went to some sort of technology platform will allow you to now connect easily. And now that I've been able to do that, that has been able to really make me go forward with the business to say, this is how I can help you at your home. You don't even have to come to an office. You can be in between, you can be in your lunch break, you could be in between jobs, you could be at home in your pajamas, you name it, you would be able to get access to someone who could help you be accountable. And that was the main thing. I wanted something in place that was going to help people to be accountable and not betray themselves and keep quitting on themselves, because that's what happens. We get started with an idea, we make it happen, and the next thing you know, 3-4 weeks down the line, we start compromising and start making these other decisions like, oh, okay, no, I'm not that invested, or I'm going to go to lunch with this person, I'm going to go to dinner with this person, or I'm just too tired. We will quit on ourselves super fast. And I felt like if you're able to touch people wherever through the technology, this means that there's no option for quitting. The car broke down, no option. The kids are sick, no option. It's like you have what you need readily available. Let me help you get to where you need to go. And that was it. It was the technology.
And since you've relaunched, you said you started the business maybe 2 or 3 years ago, but since the relaunch and with people being at home, how have you found the interest in the business? Have you found more interest and engagement in that way?
Yeah. So I found that a lot of people were taking a second look at where they were in life. And they were realizing that even if they were stable, they felt like they had this good job that wasn't going to go anywhere. They started seeing that everything was not as stable as what they thought. And so they had the time to sit back and start to take a look at like, hey, am I where I want to be? Is this what I want to do? Is there another option for me that's available to me? Should I go that route? And that made them say, okay, I'm ready to listen to someone. I want to bounce some ideas off of someone. I don't think I have all of the answers, because if I did, then I wouldn't be sitting here if some people were in a jam. Like they really were in hard jams and had to make some decisions. And so that's when you reach out. I think desperation is one of those things that make people decide to act. And then there's the inspiration, because some people saw opportunities for themselves that they didn't see before because of COVID. So it kind of went, hand in hand. Either you were desperate which then will get people moving into change, or you were inspired and that got people moving into change. So I think I benefited from both sides of the coin.
Excellent.
Mhm.
So tell me about the types of resources you use to execute your vision.
Definitely. So everything that I do is based off the principle of the I love me too mindset. When I came up with it, one of the things, because Brene Brown, being looking at shame, Marissa Peer with her mindset of being enough. When I started taking everything and unfolding it, unpacking it, I realized that before you even get to seeing that you are enough, you have to first decide to love yourself. You have to know that you're worth it, that you're someone that's lovable, and you got to see it first before anyone else is going to see it. And so when you treat yourself better, other people treat you better. And I was like, I love me too, right? That has to be a mindset, because we walk around, and particularly a lot of women that I work with, right, and that I know, they work around and their love for themselves is they base it off of what they do for others and not what they do or how they treat themselves. And so when I started sitting back, I was like, you know what? I want to build a a whole business around the mindset that I love me too. And that framework is what, when you make a decision or you're planning your life, I want you to think, are you doing this because you love you, or you're doing this because you love your husband, you love your kid, you love this company, why are you making this decision? And if you can get solid on that and you are at the heart, then we're going to move into that. If you're not at the heart, then we need to start really diving down to see how either you can interwomen yourself into it, because it might just be a really core belief and value that you had and hold dear to you, but you still have to come out of that. It can't be for somebody else, because what ends up happening is when it's for someone else and we do it, we have in our mind this reciprocity, right? And the mindset is that by me doing this for you, I'm going to get this back. And sometimes we're not very clear, or we don't tell people that we have this expectation. We just go about life thinking that I'm going to do this and I'm going to do this for other people. And then the reciprocity, I'm going to get it back. But oftentimes you don't get back what you give out. And if you don't give it out because that was truly what you wanted, you will find yourself disheartened, bitter, resentful, feeling like people don't care, they're not worth it. You'll have a really bad sense of people. But guess what? The role that you make yourself in a person's life is the role that you play. If you're the cleanup lady, then you are that. If you are the maid, then you are that. If you are the travel agent, you are that. If you're the provider, you are that. You set the tone on how you're going to play in other people's lives, as well as how you're going to play in your own life. So that's really the foreground, right? The foundation of everything that is Live 365. Because I think once you start to love yourself and you start making decisions that are pro you and let other people get the overflow, then what'll happen is you'll start living a life that you love, and people will love being around you because you love yourself and you exude that love for yourself and that happiness, and like, I'm giving abundantly because I have it in me to give. And no matter if someone gives it back, it's still there. So I hope that answered your question. It was pretty long, but.
Well, I love me too. And
Okay.
I love the premise. The question was about what resources did you use to start the business? And you came up with this, I guess, overarching vision of what you wanted people to identify with and to have them. So everything that you do builds and feeds into that
Exactly.
vision, right?
Yeah, because Tony Robbins, building off of, you always want to look at what voice can you bring to the market that's different from everyone else, right? And so in this business, we all are familiar with all the subject matter experts out there that does this work, right? And so you don't want to be a copy of any of those people. So you look to say, okay, where are the holes? Where do I see myself and what I can bring to the table that's different? And so Tony Robbins is all about, setting a standard for yourself. Like, if you want to change your life, change your standard. I mentioned, Brene Brown, she was all about this being vulnerable and putting yourself out there and kind of letting go of shame and guilt. And then Marissa Peer was, I am enough. Once you realize that you are enough, then you can show up differently.
Right.
And I think there was another lady that was like 3, 2, 1, like, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. It was like a countdown that she did to really kind of move herself to getting results. And I'm like, even still, before you get to the execution part, right? And before you even get to realizing that you alone are enough, you have to do something. And I came to the realization that you have to decide that I love me. I love me enough to live every day. I love me enough to take care of my health. I love me enough to take care of my relationships. Everything, I have to decide that I love me enough before I'm going to execute it.
Yeah.
So the mindset is you got to have a belief first before you're going to have an action. If you don't really believe it, we can walk around with these affirmations and telling people we're enough and posting I'm a queen, I'm a king, but that there is a facade oftentimes, because if you really and truly believed it, you don't need to be a walking billboard of affirmations every single day to prove that you are what you say you are. If you're that, you're that. Period.
Okay, Kay. So since launching, what would you say has been the biggest lesson you learned for yourself?
I would say the biggest lesson is just be authentic. In this business, we're either going to copy other people or we're going to try to keep fixing ourselves, right? To keep making ourselves, to fix every little thing about ourselves to make it so polished and professional. And so, but what I realized is that I'm helping people to change their lives. That means I have to be authentic. I can't be prescriptive, because then it comes off as fake. I want what I say to be exactly what I feel, unscripted. I'm not looking to do it perfect, just like right now, if I had to think of a word, or I have to think of something, like, I'm gonna think about it. You're gonna know I'm thinking about it. You're gonna know I'm being intentional, and I'm trying really, really hard not to critique myself along the way of living my life. I'm really trying to move towards thank you for feedback. Thank you for everything, the good, the bad, the indifferent. But I got to feel my way through this so that it's authentic, and that I want to connect with people where they feel like she is a real person. I get her. I think she gets me too. And I want you to connect with me that way. I'm not going to be for everybody, right? But for those who I do connect with, they're going to know that the person that they talk to, the person that's on the website, the person that they text is the person, period.
Right.
And that's the biggest thing, just trying to be yourself and not try to be, someone else. Didn't Oprah say that when she first got started, she was trying to be like Barbara Walters?
Yes.
She was mimicking, all of the Barbara Walters and trying to, she was trying to fit into this thing. And it was a great model for some time. But
Definitely.
we struggle with being authentic. The problems that people have is that they don't feel like they can be comfortable enough with themselves to go into life as themselves. And that is a problem. That's a problem that we have to fix. So
I almost feel like you've answered my next question, but I feel like you could give me another answer.
okay.
Okay, so what advice would you give to persons who are looking to start a business right now?
Definitely. I would say find out what you're good at.
Mm.
Find out what you could bring to the market that you could do exceptionally well. Because if you're going to be a business owner, geez, like there are some days where you have to grind and be persistent, and you will have to tough it out. And I think if you don't really love it, you will put it to the side really easy. You'll be like, okay, I'll do this later. Or it didn't work out, and you'll skip and go to another business. And so I would say if you want to go into business for yourself, or you want to do something, figure out what you can bring to the market that would be different. And even if it's not the thing that you love, because I honestly don't believe that what you love have to be the thing that you do for a business. Because sometimes when you put the thing that you love and it becomes profitable, you sometimes don't love it anymore, because you don't always want to sell the very thing that you love and are passionate. Sometimes you just want to do it and call it a day, right? I go to Hobby Lobby And I'm telling you, those craft projects are some of the most expensive craft projects underneath the sun, scrapbooking and all that. I'm like, oh my gosh, like this is a lot of money that you, so something that's your hobby and you just love to do and you would do it whether you didn't get paid for it or not. I don't see that as a business, because what happens is you'll never make a profit because you would do it just period. But you have to be willing to monetize that thing. And because that's you don't have a business if you don't get any money from it. You don't have it. So whatever you do that you would love to do and you feel like you can add value to the market and get paid for it, that's your business. But the hobby, the things that you just love and would do it whether someone gave you a dollar or not, I would say keep that your hobby and enjoy it and let your business give you the money to be able to pay for it. Because some of these hobbies, like I said, are super expensive. Yeah. Super expensive.
For a second. So I have one more question.
Okay.
In your day-to-day career.
So I was the director of neighborhood workforce initiatives.
Okay.
Yeah. And I'm still in workforce development now. So what I do for them is oversee all of the social media to help them really push the information out to the audience.
Okay. Yeah. So there was a question that I wanted to ask you about persons who are seeking employment right now in this pandemic, as people have become unemployed and are now looking to become employed. What do you suggest they do in this employer's market? Because there's a lot of competition. Mm-hmm. Is there anything you could suggest for them?
Network. The most important thing that we're going to find in this economy, I mean, it's always been this, but we're really going to be having to hone this skill, is your ability to build relationships and to call on people that you are connected to, because it's going to be very competitive. There were so many people who lost their jobs or were furloughed or laid off. And once this market opens back up, most companies are not going to be hiring everyone back. They're going to work on a skeleton crew. Right. And if you work on a skeleton crew, the COVID money is over. I think it's July 30th, the end of July. Once that money is over, and they've already put things in place where you have to start looking for a job now. Yeah, you have to start looking for a job now. So once that COVID money is over, everyone is going to be flooding to the market looking for a job, because that extra money that you got is no longer going to be there. You're going to need the money to be able to pay for your bills and take care of yourself. It's going to be thousands, millions of people. Everyone who's unemployed will be looking for a job on August 1st, period. So if you can get to the market sooner than August 1st, that would be great. But utilize your networks, build your relationships. Zoom, there's so many different networking events that are going on right now. Try to create those relationships. Tap into your the alumni groups. You know, there's people all over. If you're in a sorority or fraternity, tap into as many people as you can who can help you to get through, because if you thought applications were stacked up before, just imagine millions of people, you know, that's a lot. Then you have people who just graduated, right, in 2020. So you have millions of people who were in the market, and then you have this whole group who never made it to market. So they're not even considered unemployed. They're just graduates, right? Because you got that 6 months of that 6 month grace period before you have to start paying back those student loans, right? So they're not considered in the market. They're considered, you know, the pipeline. You take all of those 2020 graduates, and then you take everyone who is unemployed from being in the market. That's a lot of people competing for space. Yeah. That's a lot of people competing.
It is going to be an interesting time going forward, especially looking at how COVID is still around. We don't know what it's doing quite yet. Some places it seems to be going away. Here in Bermuda, we seem to have it, we have a status that they call where it's under control, and our numbers are very low. We're below 1%, not even 1%, 0.1%, I think it is. So it's looking very good for us, but we're looking to open our borders very soon, July 1st, for tourism. So I don't know we all don't know what that's going to look like. So the jobs are definitely, they're there, but there's going to be a lot, like you said, applications stacked up as far as people trying to fill those jobs. So
yeah, it's kind of like the real estate market. When the unemployment was so low here, it was like employers had to compete. They just had to build that person up to be what they wanted them to be, because there was so few people unemployed, right? But now, just like I said, in the real estate market, this is an employer's market. The employer has the ability to hire whomever he or she wants, at whatever rates they want. And that's that's imperative for people to understand that. And so you're going to have to stand above the crowd if you want to be seen. So I would say get used to these Zoom interviews, know how to show up in a way that will make a person see how valuable you are. Not what the company can do for you, but what you can do for the company is going to be imperative for them to take it to the next level, because they're gonna be moving through. It's gonna be like herding sheep, and um, because it was already like that with the applications. A to Z is like court tickets. A to Z is where that HR consultant is going to flip and say, I'm going to go Z to A. If they go through A to B or C and they find what they're looking for, or they've got those first 10 or 20 applications, like, sorry D, sorry E, sorry F, because they're humans.
Yeah.
But and then when the computers are pulling keywords, if you're not using those job descriptions and putting those keywords into your resumes and your applications, you're going to be totally bypassed. So the machine, you'll have to have a resume for every job so that the machine can pull up the keywords. It's going to be something interesting to see.
Yes.
But I really believe what's going to happen is we're going to see more freelance people. We're going to see more people with their own businesses, contract workers. I think we're going to start to see more of that, because people are seeing the value of having flexible time, working from home. And even companies have now been pushed to see that just because someone isn't under the roof in our, in our focal view, that we can still get things accomplished. Because just imagine if you got a whole workforce of people working out their house, you don't pay no gas, electric bills, you don't pay for water, and you don't have
internet, like anything.
None of that.
Nothing.
Yeah, companies is like, so I'm really interested to see how this unfolds. But we're living in a U economy. I think the older people who are not really used to being the owners or creators of their work and their time, like we're going to be on this path of every man freelancing and maybe have several employers as clients. I don't know, but I think this is, I love it. I love it, and I'm looking forward to it. Mm-hmm.
Well, thank you again. I love your responses, and I hope you will visit me again soon. So
I sure will.
thank you.
Mm-hmm.
I appreciate our conversation, and I think this is all that I'm going to ask you today, but I want to be able to ask you to come back and share more of your insight, because I love your energy, and I'm sure as you grow, you'll have more to offer.
That's great. Thank you so much. I really appreciate you taking the time to talk to me about what I do.
Power Coach K. Crawford. Love it. Well, I hope you enjoyed our conversation today with Power Coach K. Crawford. And I think we all got it. I love me too. What a great mantra to have when you're looking to make bold choices in your life. I hope you found her insights to be helpful to you as you navigate whether you're about to start a new business or are you looking for a new job. Any of the advice that she gave you will be a great benefit to you. I hope that you will look her up on her YouTube channel or her website. So thank you for joining me today, and I hope that you'll subscribe to my YouTube channel, as I will be talking with other business owners and entrepreneurs, people who either already have established a business or have started a business and have great advice to share. And if you're interested in having a conversation with me, please call me and I'd be happy to discuss it with you. Have a great day.